Any questions in regards to that? Any volunteers? Come on, man, y'all gonna might want to thank me for this one day.
The body just in there.
The heart is there, but the body isn't there. Okay. Who wants to at least show me the motions? Even though if we don't have a patient, who can show me the motions?
Zip code. Volunteers from the front of these guys.
Tell me zip code.
Didn't have volunteers from the front. Somebody else still have a chance.
I need to pick someone from the back.
Yeah. I see Dion hand just going up.
In the back. What's his name in the back? He's looking at me, but he's like looking at me. Harrison, Mr. Harrison. All right. Okay, Mr. Harrison, you may need to get down on your knees. Floor is clean. Okay, everybody. Everybody can see Harrison.
Start singing.
Your last non-dominant arm.
On 911 first.
The elbows are straight.
Right. That's true. You heard what he said? What did you say?
Call 911.
Right. Please call. Don't forget to call the ambulance. We're there all day, all day.
Your hold. Put your hold.
I get you.
All right, great.
Musically, I guess.
Okay. All right, so that's what I have today. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? Okay.
With the mouth to mouth. I remember some years back when I did do the CPR course, they was giving you this the plastic apparatus which you would put in the mouth. Have they changed that, or they still use another one?
Well, okay, so if you're going to be doing mouth to mouth on a stranger, you have to realize you're putting yourself at risk in terms of infectious disease, HIV, TB, all of these things, right? So that's another reason why they're promoting hands-only CPR. But of course, if it's your child, your mother, whatever, you're going to do whatever you got to do, right? So those devices are pretty much to prevent the spread of germs. Usually it's more the professionals who would carry those around. Because you're not going to have that in your back pocket when you're at fish fry and somebody just, right? So yeah, but those help to prevent the back and forth of germs. Yeah.
So it's the hands-on just as effective as using a mouth?
It's not just as effective. It's a lot more effective than doing nothing. But if you have not been trained in CPR, in full CPR, and how to do the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, or you're in a situation where you're not risking picking up an infection or going to fall on the road, you're gonna do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, I don't think so. So it's more effective than doing nothing. Okay, and they have seen improvement in survival for surgical labs for persons once even hands-only CPR is instituted, and instituted quickly, right away. Okay? Yes, sir?
Yeah. My dog is a frequent choker while when he class the dog.
Okay.
So it's pretty much the same thing for the dog, right?
I cannot comment on the dog. I cannot comment on the dog. I've never done any CPR class. I haven't been to vet school. But the anatomy is similar, so it may work. You can try, but I'm not sure about the dogs. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
when persons were choking,
Mhm.
and they said food or liquid went in the wrong pipe, that's what they say.
Long throat. Yeah.
Wrong pipe,
Right.
wrong throat. So,
What exactly is happening there?
like what they're supposed to do, like, is there a way you breathe or something to help make this
Okay.
thing go away or go down?
Okay, so you have two pipes going down past the back of your throat. One is the esophagus and one is the trachea, right? So the esophagus is what I would call your swallowing tube that leads to your stomach, and the trachea is your windpipe that leads to the lungs. They're in very close proximity to each other. The trachea or the windpipe is right in front of the esophagus. When you swallow, you have something called an epiglottis. It's a flap that closes over your windpipe to prevent food from going in there. Okay? So that's a natural response. As food is going down, ain't God good? Right? So you need your airway open to breathe, but you need to eat too. And those two things are right next to each other. So when you're swallowing, you put something there to close off your windpipe so nothing goes down your windpipe while you're eating. Okay? Now when those two mechanisms are out of sync, like when you're eating too fast and laughing and talking at the same time, that epiglottis doesn't have time to close while you're trying to swallow. So instead of it going down the swallowing tube, it goes down the windpipe. And that is how we choke. So when persons say, went down the wrong throat, that's actually, it went down the wrong tube, not the swallowing tube, but the windpipe. Okay? That answers your question? All right.
Well, the last part of the question is, what do you do to clear it? So, yes, continue coughing.
Right, so the coughing reflex, again, any little thing that's in your airway, you cough. Okay, that's why when you get a cold, you have a lot of mucus in your airway, you coughing. That is a natural reflex when something is in your airway to clear it. Okay, so whether it's a small piece of food, saliva, whatever, you cough to get it out. So, like I said towards the beginning of the presentation, if someone is quote unquote choking, but they have a nice strong cough and trying to get that object out, leave them alone. That cough reflex is going to get it out of the airway. Okay? But when it comes to the point where they cannot cough, they cannot talk, you just hear that squeaky noise, that means that airway is blocked off. Okay? So the way they clear it is through their own coughing. And if it's stuck there, then you start with the maneuvers that we talked about today, which is your Heimlich maneuver and the other maneuvers we talked about. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Do you have recorded statistics with reference to CPR done and not done in cases, the survival rate?
I personally don't have the statistics, but there are a lot of statistics that has been reported that talk about what the survival rate is if no CPR is instituted, if CPR is instituted late, if CPR is instituted early. So there exists a lot of literature that has all of these different statistics, but I don't have that memorized. But for sure I can say that when CPR is instituted early, that improves the survival. Okay? Somebody else?
Yeah. I don't know if this is a good question, but I know, so what if, does the routine change differently depends on if a person has a certain condition, like maybe diabetic, high blood pressure? Is it, I know it seems pretty standard, but does it kind of have to be altered maybe things?
As it relates to the chest compressions, it's the same.
Okay.
The method of the chest compressions is the same. Now the reason why that diabetic fell out in the first place may be different than someone who doesn't have diabetes. But the recommendation is even if you don't know the person's health condition, if they are unconscious, not responding, you start CPR. Okay, it's going to help. Okay? Anything else? But if you do, I guess since we're on that topic, if you do have someone who you know is diabetic and they pass out, And the first thing, if you're able to do, you should check their blood sugar if you have their machine. But if you don't have their machine, what you can do is put a small amount of sugar inside the mouth. The reason why I say sugar, you think that all diabetics, their sugar always high while you're putting sugar. But when you look at 2 reasons that diabetics can pass out, it can be from very low sugar or from very high sugar. Now say you give them extra sugar and their sugar is already high. What's going to happen? Pretty much nothing. If they're already unconscious and their sugar is high because they're unconscious, given that a little extra sugar isn't going to, nothing really is going to happen. Right? You're not going to really worsen their condition by giving them the sugar. However, if their sugar is drastically low because they took their insulin but forgot to eat, or they need enough and their sugar is way down, in a couple hours they may be dead. Okay? Yeah. So low blood sugar can kill a diabetic a lot faster than high blood sugar. So that's why the intervention, if you don't know, give the sugar. Okay? Put a little under the tongue, let it dissolve, and that can bring them right back. Okay?
A little bit under the tongue.
Right.
Just a little bit.
I wouldn't put candy if someone's unconscious. Okay, so you can
choke.
put juice, right, small amount of juice under something sweet.
Candy a little bit and then.
Any other general questions, even if it's not related to CPR?
What if they have a heart attack?
If they're having a heart attack, chest compressions will help them. Call the ambulance, but the chest compressions will help with the heart attack.
If you realize the person is breathing, do you stop the CPR?
If the person is breathing but still unconscious, still continue the CPR.
And if you feel the pulse and if you get enough pulse?
If you have a nice strong pulse, you can stop the CPR. But you have to be trained and know how to feel the pulse. Okay? So when in doubt, continue. Okay? Now if they wake up, you can say lay back down and be. But if they remain unconscious, you continue the CPR.
So you do that and 10 hours actually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the professional should take over from there. Okay? A stroke and unconscious, still CPR.
So CJ's determined on the other side, right?
Back to, with dealing.
Sorry, I'll get back to your question. Let me just get her.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, back to, what you were saying about the diabetic. But there's an instance where a diabetic, collapsed and he died, right? And after just eating some salad, it was until the autopsy that they hadn't taken their insulin. What would have occurred between that time and they didn't take their insulin and ate that salad? What would have led to their death?
That they probably had low blood sugar. Because if they just had a salad, again, diabetics have to be careful. Because you don't want to have too much carbs, but not enough carbs is dangerous as well if you're taking insulin. You have to take enough carbs or sugar to cover the insulin that you took. Because remember, the purpose of insulin is to lower the sugar in the blood. So the insulin will lower your sugar. If you don't give it sugar, your sugar will still drop. Insulin doesn't know you didn't give it sugar. All insulin knows is insulin is supposed to lower the sugar. So if your sugar is low and you give insulin, it's going to make it lower. All right? So that may have been the case with that particular.
So are you saying that if your sugar low, you should take insulin? You cannot go there and sugar?
If you are, that's kind of technical. If you're about to eat, so if you're a diabetic and your doctor prescribed you insulin to take before every meal, you should take the insulin to cover the meal. But if your insulin is dangerously low, I would suggest you eat first. Check your sugar, make sure it's at a safe level before you take that insulin. Because remember, the low sugar will kill a diabetic much faster than the high sugar. A lot of diabetics are walking around all day, every day with high sugar. I mean, it's not good for the long-term effects, but in terms of die now, low sugar. Okay?
That is what most diabetes believe, that the taking insulin because the sugar level is too high. Right? So if you decide now you're not eating a meal that has sugar in it, the insulin might actually be bad for you if it's sugar low, right?
Right. If your sugar is low, the insulin can be bad for you. Yes.
All right, one more question? One more question? No more? All right. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, and I'm Dr. Smith. I'm the treatment person at the walk-in clinic on Collins Avenue. In your bags, we're now running a special back-to-school physical special for those of you who have kids, grandkids, nieces, and nephews. You can give them that flyer, and they can come in for their checkups. All right, among other things. Thank you for having me.
All right.